Okay, so from this session we can create a micro application. Okay, and we can create micro application with um, fake store fake store uh, API, because we can get so many fake store API for application development. Okay, various type of fake store api.com. This is also a fake store API. So here we can get some pre-ready-made API store. We can use this kind of API for we can use this part for front-end development. So just watch out fast what kind of APIs we have already, and what is the output of that API. So here we have two type of APIs we already have. One is this and another is this. Okay, so basically when we go to the documentation site, so here we can get all kind of documentations about product, cart, uh, users and authentications. Okay, so these things actually is required for any application, so we can use any of one for by this uh, two APIs, because here also we can get product, category, user, users part. Okay, so this part are here, and if I go for documentation site, so then we can see the API level, and then we can see the output of that API. Okay, so this is in the part. So how can start our application? So check out it. This part is sometimes is better, and this API is better, I think. Instead this. So basically I just take this part for development. So basically when we are create the application, so basically application request actually currently we have when we create create an application, so there have two parts, front end and back end. You can see my another applications. Here is my current application I work on, and this is the API part for the front end for the back end purpose, and it is the front end part. Okay, so I developed both with the front end and back end, but basically when we work with Angular, so this is we have only front end part, but back end we cannot develop with the Angular. It is actually part of nodejs. I already before tell you, because if we going for full stack developer, then we can create this kind of APIs or this kind of APIs for our application. Okay, but if we are no backend API, if we don't want to create backend API right now, so we can use this test API for the front end for the knowledge purpose. Okay, so basically when we create the API, so right now we have two kind of APIs are in the market. One is the REST API is most popular, and another is the GraphQL. These two kind of APIs process are currently going on in the development field. Also, we get so many new kind of APIs also have, but these two kind of APIs mostly using for the front end or back end development purpose mostly right now. So here I have product details, and then product filter, then category, then we can see the users part, and also we can get some authentications process, and after that we can get location access if we want, and then if we want to submit a file for upload, then we can use it. And here I have some Swagger documentation which I seen you for my project development. So this is another part where we can apply the Swagger for backend development if we want to create it. Okay, so these things are actually here, and if we using the GraphQL, but GraphQL it's not our part at this moment, so we can use only this REST API part. Okay, but thing is, when we create the REST API, get method always can be visible into the browser section directly. I don't know why it's not working. I think if I create it here, then we can see the all the APIs details into the browser. Okay, so this all APIs already visible in our browser. Basically this is the part, and if we get only one product informations, then we can see it like this for one data. What happened? Okay, so basically thing is ID does not match, so for that particular purpose I cannot see the product on that particular URL. Okay, so here is the ID, and product is available here. Okay, so how can I implement this particular features by our application? So if we want to create a application from beginning, and if you don't want to create anything new from scratch, then we can select a material UI which are available by the Angular developer. So here is the material UI. Okay, so just scroll down below, and here is the material dot angular.dev. It is the UI which is provided by Angular team. Okay, and here we can get all kind of UI components are built by them. So basically every kind of UI already created, all kind of UI already created, and this UI actually all the functionalities, all the input, output, whatever we want, everything have here already. So we did not require to implement anything from scratch. Okay, so this kind of things we have already pre-built by the Angular team. So how can apply these things for our application? So basically now I just create a application, and now I just first, when we start our development, so basically every time we need to start from the new version, with the new versions. So basically always I recommended you, when you start your application, so then first you start the this installation command using first, because when we start learning, that time we start learning version 20, but this time version 21 is released. So basically now we need some updated versions for our development, right?
Okay.
So basically for that purpose we need to update our CLI. uh, Actually this is our global CLI package, this is not a local, it is a global CLI package, and which is are actually means -g means global. Global means it is actually uh, when we using ng command. So if we are using this ng command, so this ng commands actually runs from globally. Basically we can use this ng command anywhere of our uh, application, and sorry, not application, anywhere of our laptop or computer system. If we want to know about where from this ng command, so which ng, if we uh, check it by this command, so then we can see the command comes from user local bin ng. So basically this is the global properties where these commands coming. Okay. So basically if we need to update our ng versions, so here we can check the ng versions, ng minus minus VRSION version, then we can see the ng version is 20, 3.8. so this is our ng command, but now we actually use latest Angular CLI. So basically just I copy this part and then submit it. If you are using Mac or Linux operating system, then you required sudo, otherwise sudo does not require. If you are using Windows, so then you did not require sudo. Sudo is required for root access only. Basically if you want to admin user, if you are required any administration permission, so that time we required sudo, otherwise it does not require. So after using this command, uh, here also some notification we get from the npm, and here also npm packages are updated, which is a global package. If we want to update, then we can use the update command by this, otherwise we can leave it right now. So let's check out the ng versions once again. So our version is available, updated or not. So our versions is up to date. Okay.
Okay.
So now we need to be create a new application for our new project. So now ng n, and then we can use Fxstore, because we are using the Fxstore. So for that our application name is Fxstore. Okay. Or we can use ecom store, whatever, Fxstore. Okay, we using it Fxstore. So now Here we can create a CSS by default. If we try to tailwind CSS, then tailwind CSS is by default options are given here, but tailwind CSS is better if we want to update anything. So I take with tailwind CSS setup. This time we does not require any server side rendering at this moment. So but if we want, then we can uh, use it as yes. I think yes is required because this time we are creating a shopping website. Okay, if we are using a shopping website, so that time we required some SEO features. SEO features means sometimes when we create Angular application, which we already know about before, by that processes we can access our application in the browser, but that application cannot be crawling by the search engines. So this is the problem. But if we want to get linked our website with the search engine directly, and search engine bot can scroll can crawling our website, that time we require these particular things. So basically for that this particular purpose we can enable it as server side rendering. And if we using it, so this time here have so many options for AI supports. So which kind of AI actually this AI part is not a AI key enabled, it will not AI enabled, it is actually help us as a document recommendations. Because if we are create any uh, documentations, basically if we want to search anything for application development, and we feel something somewhere documentation related issues, and we if we get some bugs, so that time we can use this. So basically if we want to use something here, so here have so many options already have. By default none is okay, but if you want to enable some other things, that time we can use uh, so many suggested options. But at this moment I did not know what things what for actually, just I need to watch out fast. I don't know exactly what is this, so by default I just check it as none.
Okay.
Because if I using any AI related part, then maybe our structure will be complicated. So at this moment I just skip that. Okay, so actually when I installed this, here got some problem. Basically problem is this time under this folder node modules are does not installed yet. So actually here I got some initialization problem. Why? Because when I create the application structure, so before it I did not use the sudo command before. So for that particular purpose it is skipped. Just it create a structure of our application, but this time node modules are not installed. under this folder. So sudo then fxstore cd under fxstore, and then I can use sudo npm install I can use here, and then simply use npm I. Okay, so node module already installed, and now just we check it first. Sudo chmod mode. It is actually permissions for Mac or Linux system. It is not recommended things. And after using this, I just simply start npm start, and now our application will be started for the browser. So this is our application, which is fxstore already created. Now we required this material regions, because this is the additional features, and these additional features are actually used as a plugins. So basically, if you want to add extra Angular plugins or Angular things, so that time we can use ng add angular / material. It is the additional part which is can use for our application. So now just I copy this command and terminate our application structure, then we can add it through this way. Okay, so here recommended color schema is blue, red, violet, orange. দুধ দিয়ে খাবো না। So here here I have 4 recommended color. So this this is the default color. This is the red color. This is the black color, and it is the black color. So these 4 colors are recommended. Actually, here I have these 4 color combinations here. So if we want to these color combinations, so this color combination is cyan and orange. Cyan and orange. If we choose it, so then we can choose this particular color schema for our UI. And now after this we can start our application, and now we can see the output, what is the up to date after this setup. So this time we are not get too much changes in our UI, but we get so many setup. So first we understood about the what kind of changes when I select as SSR and with additional package like material, angular material. Okay, so what kind of things is added with these 2 things? Okay,
Okay.
so basically when we start our application development, so basically this main part is essential part which is required always. So this main.ts is always required, and index.html also same. Okay, these 2 things is required always, but what things is change in this scenario? So here actually changes is uh, when we accept the Tailwind CSS. So Tailwind is the another plugins which is are actually added in the dependencies when we add dependency. So this is the tailwind CSS. These tailwind CSS are actually add as a dependency and dev dependency, and also we can see the import options here. This is actually not mandatory so much, but it is it give us to flexibilities to create a proper UI design very easily. So here we get some basic interface like this kind of interface UI if we want. So for that purpose we can use it, but this time we need to be remove it because we need to reset everything. So basically I just remove except this line, and also we are using uh, material property. This is the material property we are using, and for this material property we can see the custom theme as CSS, and this custom theme as CSS comes from the material UI, this material UI. Okay, if we are using any kind of material component, so that time we can use see this part in our application. So these two things actually comes from uh, one tailwind CSS, another is the for the from the material CSS. And after that, if we want to know about the SSR part, why SSR are used. So this is the server.ts. This server.ts is the actually uses for SSR part. SSR means server side rendering, and I already say about this. Already said about this. Why SSR is required. SSR basically when we rendered our application for the front end development, so that time our every URLs are generated by the server end, and that can be crawling by the search engine robots.
Okay.
So basically this purpose we have to record this particular SSR setup. So this SSR setup nothing more than actually here have so many setting already have. Express is the basic package which can create a web application for the browser side, and this is the setup of that. But this time we does not know about so many things, because these settings if you want to know, then you must be understood about the expressjs how work here. So this time I don't work to go for expressjs knowledge, because expressjs are work for the server side development. So basically this time we are not talk about so much server side development. I just get these features for server side rendering only. Okay, and when I get the server side rendering, so obviously if we get the server side rendering, then we require to require to get output for server side rendering purpose. So this is the server side configuration for the main.server.ts file. So this file actually connected for the server side modules. Okay, so these two things are here for the server side enable purpose. And when we are using the server side enables, so obviously normal routes are here and server side routes also here. And when we create the server side route, and we if we create any server side route, so every server side routes are created as pre-rendered. Pre-rendered means everything should be created as HTML page under the directory. So I will show it later when I compiled the pages. So and we have some server side configurations which is required differently, almost same both are almost same, but sometimes have some differentiation with two parts. So this is the server-side routes, and app config are actually attached with the server side. Basically, if we set up anything here, so that setting automatically added here also. And server route, if route created, server route, it need to be see what things are happen here, but all the settings already predefined settings are here at this moment. Okay, so now we need to create some components. So what kind of components we need to be create for our application? So go to the API section and what things is required. So basically, if we go to the front page, so we required product page, we require maybe category page, or we require maybe users page. So these three things are most important part of our application. So basically, if we want to create an application, so products, category, users, these three things is required for it at this moment.
Okay.
So now I just create open another terminal in our terminal. So how can we create? So basically we can use two structure. Basically we understand about the structure of our application. When we see any application, we have basically two parts. One is the front end part, another is the back end part. So if we want to create a front end part, so that time we can create for front end, another part we can create as back end. So basically now we can create ng g c for front end controller. We can create front end, we can create front end, front front end, we can create front end, and we can create backend. Backend means where after login where we can go. Okay,
Okay.
so these two parts are required for basic application. UI part also. Okay, so these two parts is required for applications entry point. So in this application entry point we can use these two parts. So when I create these two parts, so basically I just remove from the beginning. So basically here we need to be import in the route section. Path, and this path here showing load children module like this, but we did not require this type of command. We actually added the command which is called front end. This front end controller we are using here first, and then we can use path colon backend means users part, and that call be as backend. Okay, so user part only. Okay, so user part will be backend, and uh, front end for publicly use. Okay,
Okay.
so these two parts we need to record at this moment. So once I added this two parts, so then just we check out our application. So basically now we need to remove everything from this page. So basically before it we can see the front end works, we can see here, but this part will be comes from when I remove everything from HTML part, and then we can add router outlet here.
Okay.
Router outlet when I use here, then we can see the pages of the here. It is the front end, and if I use as user, then we can see backend. Okay,
Okay.
these two parts we can see directly in our folder.
Okay.
But one drawback is if we are using Tailwind CSS. So for the Tailwind CSS, in this, if I use h1 tag here, we cannot see bigger letter after using this, because
Okay.
Tailwind CSS reset every type of styles from our every uh, elements, every HTML elements. So everything are resets. If I want to see it in bigger text, so text uh, to XL, so that time it can be see as bigger. Okay, so basically here I have so many kind of uh, classes already have, and that classes are give us quick designing using class name. Basically if we want to see the red color text, so then we can see the red, write red and 500, then we can see it red at red as 500. If we want to change in green, then we can see it as green. Okay, so basically it's actually, if we are using any color code, so we never use the CSS right to here directly. We can use directly something class name here directly in the tailwind CSS. Okay,
Okay.
but if we want to create some typecasting for the if we want to create some typography for our application front end, then we can create some typography. So if we want to use some typography, so h1, so for this we can use apply apply, and here we can create h2, h2, h3, h4, h5, h6. Okay, so this is the typography of our uh, command. So if we are use anywhere h1 tag, so that time we can see that h1. If we see h2 tag, so that time it will be sometime smaller. So here we can set up our global setup by the tailwind CSS class. Basically this tailwind CSS class are using directly into the CSS file. So if you learn about more tailwind CSS, so tailwind CSS .com, you can go to here, and here tailwind CSS documentation are actually initially it's hard, but once you work with this tailwind CSS. So after that, it will be very easy to understand and create any kind of design easily by tailwind CSS. Because and this tailwind CSS actually we did not require to create any UI by the CSS. We can use that UI directly CSS without using any uh, CSS style, without writing any CSS style, because CSS style does not require after using tailwind CSS.
Okay.
Okay, so basically this front end and back end are created. Now if we want to create uh, so many underlayer, because for the front end we required some basic page. What things is required for the front end? We required the home page is required. Under that home page, then we require products page. Sometimes we can get uh, product page only. Product page is product details page. I don't write the product details there. I just use the product page, and then we can use a contact page and also we can create a login page for front end and register page. So these front end structures are created. Okay,
Okay. Okay.
so basically in the front end part we have home, products, product, contact, login, register. These pages may be uses for the front end, and backend part have so many things are required if we are created for backend structure. So basically in the backend, ASEKEND backend, we required dashboard. Basically quick view of our backend section. So for the backend we can see the backend. We can use the products module. So for the products module we can use the products. We can create products, and under the products we can create others module like product list, product actually product code operations we can create under the product section. And we can see in the users module under the backend section we can see the backend part, and other things does not require except this only by our applications requirement. Okay, hello.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Okay, so this is the thing. Now we need to
The backend
hmm?
backend module is the one after the user logs in, right? That
After
is the one
after when our user is logged, then they can access this parts. If
but front-end module is something which is available to all the users,
all the guest, all the user who are visiting our website, they can see all the front ends thing, and backend parts only visible after login.
Okay.
Okay, so this time we can see everything because we are not implementing any front end or backend, but it is a initial structure of our UI part. Okay, could you understand the structure of our structure of above structure about application?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so once we are create everything here, so after this we require something like here we already uses router outlet. This same router outlet is required for this front end component also, because here we can use sub module router outlet for here also. But when I use this router outlet for this section, so if I use so then we also require router outlet for this component. Why it is required? Because once I write the these components here, so basically with these components we can create a sub module under this children property. So basically here if we create the children here, then we can see home for home component. Okay, so this home component we can visible in our front end first. Okay, so home works we can see here, except front end works. Okay, so basically we can see everything inside the front end property. So basically this home part is here, and if I write like this, so home works we can see for the front end. Also if we want to set up the front end structure home, and then if we want to set as products, then we need to use the products like this. And if we want to get product ID with using product ID, because when we get details about the product, then we can get the product by the using dynamic ID. This is the dynamic page. By ID we can see the product details for the pages section. And also we can use for path for contact, and here we can use component name contact, sorry, contact contact component we can see here. And after that we can use login registered path path we can use login we can see register page. So this all the things are implementing for the routing purpose. So basically after we create want to see the products page, then we can get products page like this. So this is here we can see the products page, and if I use some ID after this slash, then we can see the product works. Okay, you can understand the architecture.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
So depending on like if user chooses any one product, then that will be further displayed.
So basically at this moment we are creating everything by UI level, because this time this UI level is required. But if we require some layouts, so we can create layouts layouts folder, and under layouts we can create the front end and front end. Under layouts we create the front end only. So basically here is the layouts, and under layouts we can see the front end, and after that we can create backend. Okay, so two type of layouts I created here, and what things is actually happened in this layout. Basically, if we want to create a UI for front end or back end, so basically we require top menu bar, component, so many component is required. So actually I was use the this particular UI level. So just I found I try to navigate nav bar. uh,
No, got it.
uh, Actually if we use the navigation bar or top menu bar, so that time we can use nav bar, uh, can use for navigation's purpose easily. But here I think it is menu options. This is the menu options, but it is not a nav bar. Actually it is not a nav bar. Nav site nav is here. Actually here all the UI looks like mobile, uh, looks like as mobile UI.
Mm.
Okay, so if we try to create a UI, so I just actually here we use a tailwind CSS also. So go to the component section here, and just we can find out from here also some basic UI for navigation parts. This is the product part. So many UI already here. Okay, so some basic just check out which type of UI is suitable for us. Then we take the code and paste that code in our UI. So
Okay.
here we have so many UI is already pre-built. So just I think this particular UI may be better for us. So just I see the code line and copy this code. Okay, once I copy this code, and after that go to the under layout, go to the front end, remove everything, and just paste it here.
Okay.
They recommends actually this particular elements is required to add via npm. So sudo npm install this particular section is required uh, to see this element for the front end, and after this part we does not require it. I just save it, and once I save it, then we can call it in our front end module. Okay, so go to the front end module, and before it I just called the selector name. Basically what is the selector name? app frontend. Okay, so basically this app frontend, and here name also same, app frontend. So here have some difficulties to for understanding what is for what. Okay, so
Yeah.
now here I try to rename it. Basically it's actually layout frontend, so just I name it layout frontend for this particular sorry, not not this, it is actually part of app. So this is this part not change this name. I just name change layout frontend for this, and its layout, it will be layout. Okay, layout frontend, it helpful for us for understanding. And same thing, layout backend, layout backend, and here I just change the name as layout backend. Okay, so once I use this, and after that I just simply use layout layout front end, just use here. And after this, once I use, then this layout front end does not capture here, so I need front end layout front end is required for this module. Okay, so once I use this and we get this kind of problem, it is not I think it is not a problem yet. Just I need to recompile. Actually I need to terminate and once again need to recompile. Okay, so what things is here? EL dialog panel. Okay, what happened? Okay, this dialog panel actually this custom attributes is actually problem complaining. This particular part is complaining for our UI design. Basically these custom elements need to be created, but these elements actually created by uh, I think that plugins maybe not working in our with our application.
Okay.
Basic UI blocks I just try to use. So basic UI blocks, if we try, so it is better. So basically we required header part mainly. Okay, so here is the header part, and we have so many different kind of headers. So these header parts we can be use. Okay, so now everywhere use the el property. Okay, just I leave this element options because this element not helpful for us too much.
Okay.
So just I remove and insta double install. Okay, so now it is installed, and from the layout section, front end layout section, we can remove. Now just I create a simple UI for menu creation. So this time my windsharp AI is working here. So just I command for this comment. In this comment I just write create creating a nav bar. So once I writing it, then it can help us to create a navigation easily. So how can we create? So basically here we can use bg gray 100 300, and then we can use um, height we can use h12, and then we can text just write this, and then we can create a navigation bar div uh, class container container, and under the container we can create navigation bar. So it's help us to create a navigation bar easily by this command. Okay, so this is our simple uh, navigation header. Okay, hello.
Yeah, yes, sir, I'm noticing.
Okay, so this is our very simple uh, header we created here. And justify center, does not require justify center here. Actually we required here we can create some extra top and bottom space, so 3 is good, and here also we can create MOI 3. So basically we can just use the top and bottom space by this command. So here we can see something here, and once we can create class. So normally here we can see normal text, and when mouse over, then we can see underline. So this class is applying for one and URL link, and then we can paste it for multiple lines. So this is the part, but it will be better not for red. It is actually I just use text bold. Font bold, it is good. Except this red light. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so every pages are created. So now here we can see all the pages link. If we want to see if we want to use this router link, and obviously we need to add router link for this property, and then here the product every page should work, I think. Router link. Okay, and now it is for only the front end purpose, but here we can use ng ng content for inner content. Basically we are using it as layout. So basically div class as footer, it is also used for footer purpose. So justify center is okay, and it can use for footer. So basically this is the top part, it will be footer part. So between that we can see this product area when we navigate it. So how can work this front-end UI in our front-end? So basically in this front-end we just simply use this part wrap with this particular process. Okay, so basically this is the front-end layout, and under that layout we can see all the pages. So now we can see. Okay, could you understand how it works?
Yes, yes, sir.
So here is product home. Let's see. Uh, then home navigation is not here. So home contact products login. Okay. So once refresh. Okay. So this is the front end. So here home product contact login. Every pages are showing here. Okay. So this is the basic layout structure created, and once I created it, just I simply use it h main. So basically what I writing here, I just written here uh, actually total page height, which is right now is calculate the page height here. So see screen, not like that. I just screen height. So this is the height. Okay, this is the proper page height, and proper page height is 100%, and from 100% we can minus 164 pixel. So basically 164 pixel from this top bar to here, and from here we can use this height to minus. So we can see the part for below sections of our page, and it is a front end section. And now we can see every pages in our UI. Okay. Hello.
Yeah. Okay.
So like this way you need to create another layout for the backend. You can do it by yourself. Oh,
Okay.
what I do it, basically it is the front end navigation bar are created. Here I create the container section, and under this container section ng content is a content projections. Basically here we can use the children and component we can use here, and after that this is the footer path. So it is the footer part, and it is the body part of our page.
Okay.
Okay, and this part when I calling under this section front end layout, and here I just create this layout like this way, and here we can see all the pages as per routing setup which I set up here.
Okay.
Okay, so this is my basic structure which is created, and by this uh, APIs we can create a basic home page, then we can create the products page, then we can use the product filter user we can use for authentication purpose, and this will be our processes to create front end and back end with the authentication.
Okay.
Okay, so today we can finish our task here.
Okay. Okay.
It's very
Now we need,
important.
yeah. Now we need to populate data from API and project into the ng content section, correct?
What is your question?
So we need to populate data from sample API and project into the ng content section, correct, sir?
In the content section, yes. Actually, this front end part, when I implementing, the child property are actually rendered in this section,
Okay.
and when I use it as layout by this way, under that layout, in the router, by the router outlet, we can see others all pages.
Okay.
Okay, so this is our structure, and this structure is very important when we are creating for application. Basically, this is the basic structure which need to be created for the front end everywhere. Uh, Code will be maybe different, but structure always be same.
Okay.
Coding may be different as per front end code, but structure is same. Basically, which I created, this is the same kind of structure I created with everywhere when I create my applications
Okay.
for front end. So this is the structure of front end and back end. And if you are creating this structure, after this structure you can create a complete application using front end and back end.
Okay.
And once I completed it a little bit, then you can get understood how we create a proper applications for front end using Angular or any front end.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.